I feel like binge drinking is a problem at St. Thomas University because during the week everyone's so busy and stressed, and then we get to the weekend and everybody just kind of parties and gets it all out.
Okay, no, I don't think it's a problem compared to other schools, because compared to like St. FX or something, we don't party as much as them. Like, I look at my Facebook and all my friends who go to St. FX, they're like, oh, can't believe I'm so hungover today in class, and it's a Monday morning, so I don't think it's too much of a problem here.
I do not think Stu has a problem with binge drinking because I've heard many stories from different universities, and I do not think Stu is as bad, and I do not know enough about the Harrington liquor ban situation to comment.
Personally, I don't think binge drinking is a problem in residence. Yes, on Friday and Saturday nights in Harrington Hall, people like to drink and get drunk and have fun, but it's just something that's always been part of the university life. No matter what university it is, no matter what residence, people like to kick back, relax, and maybe get a little intoxicated on Friday and Saturday nights.
I don't think binge drinking is a problem here at STU. I think there should be more awareness about drinking in moderation, because some people they drink too quickly and they get too drunk and things get out of hand. But binge drinking, I would say no for that. I don't think that the drinking ban is going to solve much for Harrington. I don't think drinking is much of the problem, especially binge drinking. I think it's more of the guests they allow in the house. But you know what? The drinking ban, might prove well for some people. So.
Okay, with binge drinking at St. Thomas University, I personally think that everyone has a right to drink in moderation. When you binge drink, it really and truly can never cause a good thing. My friend died at Acadia during his welcome week because of binge drinking. The fact that we have a welcome week that actually is dry just proves that St. Thomas should not be committed to binge drinking and has taken steps against it. That's really more or less my opinion. You should not binge drink in residence every single night, because all it leads to is anger problems, worse grades, and the possibility of death.
There is a problem at STU with binge drinking, but there's also a problem at other universities like Acadia, St. FX, UNB, and I think it gets worse as the years go on. Like, first years they're used to being like at home, so when they're out here on their own, they drink a lot more, and then as the years go on it decreases.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily that St. Thomas has a drinking problem as it is most universities. It's just a first time students are away from home, they get to be on their own, and sometimes they take it a little too far. We have had problems in the past, yes, and Harrington has had their problems, but it's not like any other residence. And yeah, I think it's just being away from home, first time out, they get to experience it.
I don't think there's a binge drinking problem at STU so much as there's unnecessary overconsumption of alcohol. When I think of binge drinking, I think of people drinking to the point where they're endangering themselves and potentially hurting themselves. But like, at STU, I think it's just people drink too often, like on the weekends and on weekdays, and it's just an unnecessary amount.
I don't think it's that big of a problem in general. I don't think we're any worse off than other universities per se. Like, it's not ideal for sure. Like it's not a perfect situation, but.
In relation to the question whether or not I think there's been drinking in St. Thomas, I definitely think there is. I was a former member of the STU varsity soccer team, so I had experienced binge drinking firsthand, both in a cooperative team spirit and both. I've lived in Harrington for 5 years of my life, so I've experienced it firsthand. The liquor ban is something I never actually thought would ever occur in Harrington, just because obviously, we're university students, we all manage to, we should all be adults. So the fact that it actually occurred surprised me, but after living in this house for 5 years, I've never seen things get to the point that they have. So I just think this was a really big shock for these students, but I think it's something that had to occur in order for them to realize how bad things had come, and that this is their home away from home more than it is just like a place to hang out and party. So I think it was important to have it.
I've never really seen people binge drink at St. Thomas, nobody I know has ever binge drinking. I know some people do, but it's pretty rare. It's like a once every now and again occasion, and it's usually people who are underage and not used to drinking.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no. I don't think it's a huge problem. I know when a lot of people first leave home, they have a tendency to drink more often, but I don't think it's a problem here. I know in other universities, I hear a lot worse stories of people, binge drinking and whatnot. But here, I wouldn't say so.
Binge drinking, in my opinion, is a bad thing because it can be detrimental to one's health. But in my opinion, and in what I've experienced here at St. Thomas with binge drinking, it hasn't been too bad because there hasn't been very many health incidents. It's been more people just drink too much and they'll throw up or pass out or cause a bit of damage, but overall it hasn't been that much of a problem.
I believe that the true problem within St. Thomas in regards to binge drinking is not the drinking itself, it's what happens because of the alcohol. Alcohol has a power to make people do things they don't exactly know they're doing while they're under the influence, and that's how people can get hurt, property can get damaged, and problems can happen. And I think that's the true problem that a lot of us are facing right now in regards to alcohol.
I believe that St. Thomas sort of has a binge drinking problem. I believe that when people overdo on their intake of alcohol, they're causing damage to not only their selves, like their health and their body, they're also causing damage to their property and the surroundings. Harrington Hall put in the liquor ban, and they're hoping that will prevent property damage. And that's my personal opinion.
Yes, to a point it is a problem, simply for the fact that there are some younger drinkers. They just kind of found their freedom, they're kind of busting out, they're rebelling a little bit. Suddenly they have access to alcohol, so some of them can go over the top. I find after you get into like the older years, or at least the ones that are over 19, it's not so bad, but it's especially the ones that are just